Perfect. We are live. Uh, we are just testing initially. Hello, it's mic testing on YouTube Live. I'm audible. Perfect. Rishabh, can you speak once?
Yep. Yeah. Am I audible?
My team, is Rishabh audible and visible? Rishabh is not audible, not visible. He's visible now. Is he audible?
Hello.
Rishabh is audible also. Perfect. So yeah, I think Rishabh will wait for 7 minutes. Until then, I think we are live on YouTube, but I'm very excited for this podcast. Let's have a random chit chat. But yeah, this is a new series that we are starting. Seniors ki Rai with Unsaid Talks. And the intent is to bring some of the very smart folks in the industry, our seniors, of all the students who are currently in engineering colleges, and have a conversation with them and try to learn something from their journeys. I truly believe mentorship can shape lives, and that's why we are very excited to have our first guest for our YouTube live, who is Rishabh Mendiratta, and who was a senior software engineer in DE Shaw. And I can see Rishabh wearing the jacket of DE Shaw as well. That's great, Rishabh. So, how are you feeling to be here, Rishabh? Before we officially kick off at 7 p.m., I think, how are you feeling to be here?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot, Raghav, for firstly, taking this initiative. And I mean, I would say like it's like a lot of work which goes behind all the scenes to actually, plan this, then arrange all the setup and everything which goes beyond it. So, and it's the first time that, Unsaid Talks team is trying something of this format. So, yeah, I'm very grateful that I'm the first person amongst all the mentors out there who is going to be on this podcast. So very much excited and looking forward to share the insights that I back in 2018 and that I leveraged the mentorship from my seniors and the resources that I leveraged and how did the preparation went for me. What were the key insights that I learned during that time? Yeah. So definitely super excited for this podcast.
Awesome. I'm also pretty excited, Rishabh, to have you. So, we have 4 more minutes to go. Last check with the team. I hope our audio and video is clear. Team, YouTube live, is it all set? Are you able to see us clearly? Are you able to hear Rishabh and me clearly? Sure. So we are double checking because last time our YouTube live couldn't happen, but this time we want to make sure that we are live. We should share the YouTube live link among our all communities. And even if nobody comes, I think it would be very exciting to have you and have a conversation with you, Rishabh. So I think I am taking this as a learning conversation for next 20 minutes or so with you. Uh, and it's going to be very interesting. So we have next few more minutes to go, guys, before we officially kick off our first episode of Senior Skirai with Rishabh Mendiratta and try to understand how he cracked his first interview for software engineering in DE Shaw, which is one of the dream companies that visits Thapar. And he being from electronics and communication, how he managed to crack. I think we all can learn something from this experience on how he prepared, how he learned, how he got an edge, considering he was the only one among the thousand students, at least, who appeared and who wanted to get into DE Shaw. So I'm sure a lot of hard work and lot of interesting insights we all would be getting from Rishabh, and pretty excited for this conversation. And I think 3 more minutes to go before we kick off the conversation. And I think we'll be back, Rishabh. I think let's just
Yep,
relax for
sure.
another 2 minutes.
Yes, sure. I think the folks who are already there on the live, if they want, they can, I mean, don't think too much. It's going to be a very fun
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
conversation. So don't think that it's going to be overload of information. We'll try to keep it as simple as possible.
Yes, guys, and I'm sure it's going to be very fun, heart-to-heart conversation with Rishabh and anyone who values human connections, who understand how we can learn from someone who is few steps ahead of us in our journeys. I think if you have that kind of a mindset, this conversation can be a game changer for you. And with this, I think one thought I'm getting is for me, this point changed when I was in second year when I read a book called uh, uh, the book's name was Mindset by Carol Dweck. And that book talked about a concept of a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. And after reading the book, I realized how, in a lot of aspects, I had fixed mindset and how I should ideally have a growth mindset. And that book actually gave me the power to think big and to actually understand that it's all in your mind. If you can think, you can achieve. So I'm sure Rishabh cracked DE Shaw because he believed that he can crack DE Shaw. The thing started with the belief. We are not going to go much into psychology, guys, but we all need to understand that everything starts from belief. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you are always right. And with this thought, I think just few last seconds to go before we officially kick off our conversation with Rishabh. I am very excited for this talk for next 15-20 minutes with Rishabh. And yeah, it's 7 p.m. So whoever is joining us live, welcome. And whoever is watching us over the recording as well, welcome to you as well. So officially, I would like to kick off our new podcast series, which we are calling it Seniors Kirai with Unsaid Talks. This is episode 1, and we have Rishabh Mendiratta with us, who comes from software engineering background, ex-software engineer from DE Shaw, and he is 2019 graduate from Thapar University as इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड कम्युनिकेशन और आज हम इस नेक्स्ट 20 मिनट्स में ऋषभ के साथ बात करेंगे एंड वी विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड how he cracked his first interview from Thapar, being the only one who managed to crack the Shaw interview, and how he learned, what he actually learned, how he managed to do that, how has he been his journey. I think we will try to debunk a lot of interesting insights and get the juice out of the experience of Rishabh. So, Rishabh, excited to have you. A very warm welcome. I think the first
Yep,
question I would
same
like
here.
to start is I would like to have a brief intro about you for our audience so we know who you are and from where you come.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So I'll start with a brief introduction. My native is basically from Rajasthan. There's a place called Alwar. It's like you can say a tier two, tier three kind of a city. So back then, when I started my preparation for joining a college, so it was very usual. Like we go for JE prep and all. So I relocated to a place called Kota, right? So a lot of learnings and evolution of my mind happened there. Met a lot of unique kind of people, be it with the kind of journey, how they understand things, how the first principle approach they take. And then when I moved to Thapar back in 2015, I was basically offered a branch electronics and computers versus electronics and communication. These two were the options with me. So I went with electronics and computers because I thought I'll experience both the sides of the world. Initially, I was targeting for the computer science branch, but that didn't happen. So I thought, okay, let's take a bet on this. And then I think that was a very, I would say, a great decision that happened for me. And throughout this whole journey, when I was in my second year. So this is where we have this provision in Thapar, that we have to either do an internship or some sort of training, which is like 1 month to 2 months long. So I did a web development intern, not intern, sorry, a training with a very renowned institute out there. And the mentor there, he actually comes from a college, which is kind of a tier 3 college, but his accomplishments were way more than a student who is in tier 1 colleges like IITs or NITs, right? So he was spending a lot of his time being the open source communities, going for open source projects or GSOC, Google Summer of Code kind of initiatives, and he was putting a lot of time. So in that, and he was upskilling himself and learning. And throughout that journey, he upskilled himself in such a manner that he became eligible to mentor a lot of other folks. And these all people were from like institutes like Thapar, DTU, NSIT, and other renowned colleges out there. Right? So when I got mentoring from that person, firstly, my perspective of whole how to learn and in general the evolution part again evolved in a very different trajectory. I understood that peer learning and you can learn from anyone out there, right? So that's what my mindset changed, and that's more around the growth mindset part, which I think Raghav was also talking about in the initial part when we started this podcast. So I think when I was introduced to those, coding languages, so my interest got more involved into it. I started learning and making projects on my own. And this is where, back in third year, when companies come for internships, and basically for third year students for internship, and for fourth year, it's like the full time. So in that time, I appeared for Microsoft's one of the, online test, and this is where I realized that I don't have the proper fundamentals of data structure and algorithms.
Mm,
Although I was
mm,
practicing on some of the platforms like HackerRank back then, but still, in the timed manner, I realized that I'm not able to do it. I got pressurized and not able to solve, right?
mm, mm,
And for the next year, I made sure that data structure algorithms, at least this
mm,
thing which comes in the online test, and a lot of MCQs which comes around other part of the course, yes, fundamentals, which we'll talk about going forward.
mm.
So I made sure that I strengthen my, area there, and these should be my strengths. And I should practice as many questions in the quality manner as well. It's not about quantity again, it's about quality that you do. Even if you're doing, let's say, 50 questions in next 3 months, right? But then those 50 questions should be like, okay, after that, I'll not be able to going to see them again. And I know how each question is actually, demanding, what it's demanding, and how to approach it, right? And
Perfect.
also, you should
So,
be able to think out of the box.
perfect. So we'll definitely come to the preparation part, but it's very exciting journey, Rishabh. I think one of the key thing that I picked up from your this introduction was that how a mentor played a very crucial role in your journey. Uh, Despite having so much content online, and I'm sure you at that time also you might be, watching so much YouTube content, watching so many courses, etc. But that mentor about whom you discussed, who you basically increased your interest towards programming. So I want to know how you discovered the programming. Were you interest for programming? Were you always certain that you want to get into programming in the first year itself, or did it evolve with time? How was that?
Got it. So basically, in the first year, so we were introduced with C and C++, and I was kind of very scared of pointers at that moment because that was my first time when I, got introduced to programming. I never did programming back in my school years. So I thought like, okay, maybe this direction is not for me. So for a while, I never, thought much about programming. But then in our second semester, when we got introduced to Java, right? So there I realized, okay, there are like a lot of other programming languages. Maybe I can find myself better suit there and start learning from that angle, right? And it's not just about that that one topic, steered me away from those programming languages. I think it's also about who is delivering that content, and how you are consuming that content, what are the resources available. So once I got hang of a particular language like in Java, then I was like, okay, now I have to go in that direction and explore this world of programming. And also to add it, because I was part of electronics and computers branch, so we have a society in our college, IET, and this is where also I, one of the I'll not take much time, but I met Raghav there itself. He's
Yeah,
my senior, college senior. So we do this Arduino project in our first year, and that's where I got to also know that how the in the real world you can actually leverage these programming skills, how how you can control the hardware as well and not just the software.
interesting.
So that's how I think the journey evolved.
Interesting, Vish. Uh, Next, Rishabh, I think I'd like to go towards your D Shaw interview experience. I think you described on high level about your preparation journey, but I want you to go a bit deeper into your preparation, right? In next like 1 minute, if you can walk us through what resources you followed, and if somebody wants to crack D Shaw, how should he prepare, considering, let's say, he has for now, because we are in a month of July and probably companies will start coming to the campuses already or might be coming, right? So August, September, October, November, December is the very good placement season. So let's say a candidate is having a 2 months of a preparation time and he wants to crack a company just like DE Shaw. It's a dream
Mhm.
company at a package as high as 25, 30 lakhs or even more. What should be the roadmap for the 2 months? What are the key areas, according to you, he should focus on? Or any tips you would like to highlight in 1 to 2 minutes, not more than that, if you can quickly describe.
Got it. So, so for me again, as I mentioned that I was already practicing a lot from my second year onwards on platforms like HackerRank, Geeks for Geeks, right? But then my focus preparation started in third year, where I was like, okay, first I have to cover these data structures and make sure that I cover, let's say, 10 questions of each data structure and should be very much, I should be very much aware about like what exactly are these questions and how I'm approaching them. What should be the right way to actually attempt these kind of questions, right? So clear all the corner cases in whatever way you can actually present your thought process to the interviewer. So I started did the preparation in a very focused manner. Also started referring a lot of interview experiences back then. UnsaidTalks was a blog platform with which it started. And I think that also helped me understand how to actually prepare for the interviews in the more focused manner. So I think if we talk about the part that if you have 2 months and you want to prepare for companies like Shaw or any other big tech firms or the firms who are going to pay huge, I think firstly we should think that if our fundamentals are strong, then it's not about the package of the company that you are going to appear for, because your confidence will play the major role when you'll be in the online test or whether you are in the offline interviews, right? So I think if fundamentals are strong, then the 2 month roadmap will definitely change person to person, and this is where the personalized understanding of on which career journey or what is the state of your preparation that comes into picture. So I think if I trim it down, so I think if we focus majorly on data structure algorithms, there are a lot of, I think these days a lot of focus sheets available, 75 question based sheets, which is called, I think, blind lead code or something like that. And then there are a lot of other sheets as well. So I think the content part is already solved. So I think if you do the focused way preparation, then that would be the best. And I think focus on the core CS fundamental, which covers object-oriented programming, operating systems, and then focus on the fundamentals around be it around like topics like API, computer network topics, right? So if you're very much well aware and versed with these topics, then I think you're all set to go for any kind of company out there.
Awesome. Super, super tips, Rishabh. Thanks for sharing the insights. Next, Rishabh, I want you to walk through the interview process of DE Shaw. Like how many rounds were there? What type of questions were asked? And your personal experience little bit again in using in next 1 to 2 minutes. If you can walk us through your entire interview process for DE Shaw.
Got it. So, so firstly, there were like 4 rounds, including the online test. So we had like first online test in which close to 300 students appeared. Given that it was a day zero company, so back then, like I think on day zero we had Shaw and Microsoft as well along with it. So out of that, online test, in that we had like two coding questions, which were like you can say one question was kind of easy to medium and one was medium to hard. And it wasn't like that if Disha is asking, so they'll only ask dynamic programming, graphs, or something. They were like, questions which involved multiple data structures. I think one was related to stacks, queues, and then, how do you actually put the maths inside it? And one was mainly they were trying to test how well do you know the programming languages into deep. So more around the data types and how you can leverage it. So that was around the so it was more around the problem solving and the programming language understanding. Then there were like MCQ questions, which were more focused on trying to go more deeper into the uh, DSA and the object-oriented programming knows of in and out of everything, right? So and then there were like aptitude questions as well. So yeah, there's one I would say difference between at least in our time it was like that with Disha we had like aptitude questions which were more you can say verbose and lengthy. So like there were like close to 5 to 6 questions. So even if even if you do 4 to 5 questions correctly, then one leaving one question won't leave you behind. But it's obviously better to do as much as possible. But with Disha, at least aptitude questions were very much complicated. But other than this, I think the whole online test, I would say, would be close to like a medium kind of a online test. It wasn't like very hard. But again, since if it's easy or doable for everyone, then you have to score more in that scenario, right? And for that, you have to do the timed practice when you're preparing for the interviews. Coming to the offline interviews, so if I talk about, right, so obviously when I went for the first offline interview that was with them, so I was kind of a bit nervous, and everyone out there was, right, in the area around a placement cell. So when I went there, so they threw a question to me, which was related to coding. And so my approach wasn't related to just give them the solution. It was more about first trying to understand what is the question exactly, what they're expecting out of it, right? And then I started approaching with a brute force approach and trying to collaborate with them to try to understand if there's some corner cases or edge case which I'm going to miss, right? So in that, a lot of hints keep on coming, right? Okay, so if I'm not, there was a question related to backtracking. So when I started, applying the brute force approach, so I was on the worst time complexity out there. But when I discussed with them, okay, these are, some of the ways that
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
yeah,
but this is the corner case which I'm not able to cover with this kind of it. So they gave me a hint, and this is where I realized, okay, I need to involve dynamic programming sort of into it, and then approach this problem statement. So I think if
interesting.
we do collaboration during the interview
Hmm.
and stay calm, then I think you can solve those questions which you might not be able to solve, when you're doing coding alone in your room. So that's one of my key experiences that I had back then. Then, so basically, I had two technical interviews, which were mix of again, object-oriented programming, my project-related discussions, and with project-related discussions, I also, when they asked me about one of the projects, so I drew the architecture diagram of it, and then, discuss each component, what were the hurdles and challenges that I faced, and on top of that, they involved some complex questions, which again involved the understanding of data structures. So one of
Interesting.
them being, how will I optimize the memory consumption in
Hmm.
my whole project, which was involving Node.js in the backend. So I think it all depends how you start with the tell me about yourself and then the follow-up questions that they come upon and how you're actually, collaborating with them.
Very
So yeah,
interesting. I think the biggest insight that I can pick from this talk is how you mentioned that in an interview, you have to act as a collaborator where you collaborate with the interviewer while you answer the question. Great insight, Rishabh. I think thanks for detailing out all entire process for DE Shaw. Uh, I think next question I have is how was your mental state before the interview and during the interview and after the interview? How did you felt? If you remember those feelings and
got it.
emotions.
Yeah, definitely. I think given that it was my first interview of my life, right, in that format. So obviously, when until the point I was not aware that my online test has been, cleared. I was in a way like, okay, let's see what happens. I've appeared for it, and somehow in my hindsight, because the preparation was going for, uh, again, the company agnostic I was doing. Although when some companies were approaching, and let's say at that moment when I had to write the test for Disha, so I was doing some questions which were very much focused around it, right? From platforms like UnsaidTalks, Geeks for Geeks, right? But then once I got to know, okay, I've cleared the online test and 13 people have been selected out of 300 odd people. Then it was the time, like, now I have to clear those rounds. That was in my mind, but I wasn't very much stressed about it. I was trying to take things in a very normal way, right? So when the first offline round happened, so I was like, I became more confident. I wouldn't say I was overconfident. I was trying to, control my emotions and everything out there. I was trying to think, okay, first round has gone fine. Now my target is to just nail down the second round. Let's not think about whether I clear the whole process or not. Let's just focus on
Interesting.
the next round and stay calm, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I think each round went through, and by the end of the day, we got the results.
Amazing. Awesome. So, Rishabh, uh, I want to know, as per you, why you think you got selected out of, I think, 200 plus people who were part of the interview process? What did, as per you, did different, right? And
Got it.
maybe this could involve your mindset, could be around some preparation that the edge that you had. So, what was the one key reason that you think you were selected and nobody else was selected, as per you?
I mean, this is one of the questions which I keep on retrospecting every time. But what I have boiled down to lately, when in the journey, when I've interacted with a lot of more people other than outside of our college, right? I've observed that collaboration being one of the things which I showcased in that moment, which generally people doesn't show in the early years of the career. They get to know when they're into the uh, in a particular corporate setup, when they are working on a project which is going live, and then they get to know a lot of feedbacks from their managers or senior folks, right? So I think collaboration being one of the key reasons that I showcase more. Um, and I think also I wasn't getting, stressed in that environment. So, for example, DShaw being the trading firm, right? There are a lot of instances where you have to be on toes and figure out a solution. And then don't get stressed about whatever is going right, given that it's $1 billion trading happening or whatever. So I think whenever they were cross questioning me, I was very much calm. I wasn't responding in a way that, oh, I don't know the answer to it or I cannot figure it out. So my attitude was always about that I can figure out a way any way possible, and I'll communicate as much as possible to achieve that goal. So I think
Interesting.
that being the key.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks, Rishabh. This was really powerful insight. Next question I have is, Rishabh, key three tips for someone who is aiming for a similar kind of company. Only three tips I want you to highlight.
So firstly, focus on fundamentals. Then practice in the quality fashion and not quantity. And do a focused preparation with the right resources. And I think Unset Talks could be one of the platforms which you can leverage to get those focused, roadmaps.
Awesome.
So I think, yeah.
Thanks, Rishabh, for the three insights. Uh, Next question I have before we jump on to quick fire questions. What are the key three things that you wish you would have known back in the college?
Mhm. Got it. So, firstly, so peer learning, I started in my second year, which I think, but still the double down part happened a lot later in that. So I think peer learning was one of the things which I should be aware much about in my college in the ecosystem. And other than that, I would say, working on the projects with folks from other colleges or participating more in hackathons. That would have given me a more practical nature of things. And other than that, I think like being part of the communities which are not just focused on the technical aspects and also leveraging the cultural side of the things. So,
Interesting. Perfect. Uh, Quickly, we'll do quick fire questions, Rishabh, with you. First is your favorite programming language.
so earlier it was Java, but now it being Python. So I think I've
Interesting.
said two.
One book or a resource that every student should read as per you. Could be
So I
from
think
academics or could be not from academics.
got it. So there's a book called Make Something Wonderful by Steve Jobs Archives.
Okay.
And I think that every person should read out there. It talks a lot more around the humbleness, entrepreneurial mindset, and a lot of those things.
Interesting. Uh, One line that you live by, one line or a one quote that you live by.
Yeah. So I feel never lose hope and just keep exploring. Everyone has their own journey.
Awesome. Great, guys. I think this was it. I think I enjoyed a lot taking out all the insights from you, Rishabh. Uh, Last closing line before we end the podcast. I want you to basically highlight one key advice to your own younger self or your own junior self, the Rishabh who is still in the second year of Thapar.
Got it. Um, I think I would say that again, on the similar line only, everyone has their own journey. So we should obviously keep on learning from a lot of people out there. But then if there's something which you feel that you want to explore, but you're just stopping yourself because you feel there are not much opportunities which you can see in the immediate environment. I think that would be one of the mindsets I would say I would change. Like I would go and explore more. So yeah,
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rishabh. I think it was a great conversation with you. The way you transparently shared all your journey, the interview process of the show, the tips for students who want to crack a similar kind of a role, this was commendable. And I think the key thing that you also highlighted in the conversation was how a mentor played an important and crucial part in your journey. And
yeah,
with the same thought, I think I would like to highlight that we at Unsaid Talks are also coming up with a 9 month long program called Build for Hire, in which we have partnered with folks like Rishabh and many other folks from the industry and also from IIT. Mr. Kushal Shah is our lead teacher, I would say, in this 9 month program. It's a job guarantee program in which we are selecting 50 students. The program will be starting on 15th September, and those who are interested can check our website for more details. And we are getting a lot of love from students on this program. It's an industry oriented program entirely, where we are trying to essentially bridge the gap between the theory and the practical stuff, which is more aligned towards how the industry in the AI is shaping. So if you're a software engineer who is aiming to crack job in next 9 to 12 months, you should definitely check out and apply for All India admission test of Build for Hire. You can visit www.unsaidtalks.com/build for hire. I think you can reach out to us if you need more details. Great, Rishabh. I think it was a great conversation. Lovely to have you in the episode one of Seniors Kirai with Unsaid Talks, and looking forward to do more such powerful events with you ahead with Unsaid Talks. And yeah,
thanks a
thank
lot,
you,
Raghav.
Rishabh. Thank you so much. Great having you. All
Thanks
the
all.
very best and have a good evening. Bye bye.
Yeah,
Thanks,
same to you.
everyone.
Bye.